Hey geeks, this is Fran Chandler from New Hampshire, and if I'm not dreaming about those meatballs at Arcachus or planning the perfect 4 parks 1 day adventure challenge, then I'm geeking on Walt Disney World with Curtis and the whole geekin' family.
Are you ready for a fun-filled hour of food favorites, resort hopping, and hanging out with Disney World geeks? It's now time to go geekin' on Walt Disney World. Here's our dad and co-host. Hollywood was impressed with his performance in crowd scenes at the Indiana Jones stunt show. He never misses an 11 a.m. margarita at the Mexican Pavilion. And Mike Wazowski is still raving about his performance as that guy over at Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Curtis Stone.
Welcome home, Disney World geeks. This week on the show, we review Disney Cruising with unofficial author Erin Foster and our own super geek, Jennifer Galambos, on episode 241 of the Geekin' on Walt Disney World podcast. I am your Geek and Family podfather, Curtis Stone, and we are the family-friendly father-daughter podcast, also featuring Mama, Auntie Judy, Soul Sister Holly, cousins Jen and EJ. Oh, and Mama says I should also welcome Uncle Grumpy Ken. Our Geek and Family will feed your passion for Walt Disney World by sharing our experiences and opinions, as well as others from our community of passionate Walt Disney World geeks. I'm so excited you're here with us listening to our show. You're not a download to us. You're special, I know. I've interviewed and talked with so many of you. Geeky Disney people are awesome, and we consider you family, part of our Geekin' family. Join us every Monday as we share travel tips, resort reviews, and lots of food talk through our live trip reports, interviews with our Geekin' family members about their trips, and special guest roundtables on fun Disney World topics from Geekin' family members all around the world. We take pride in the awesome and positive community in our Geekin' family, so come join us to share in our love for Walt Disney World and each other, and I bet you'll learn something to try on your next vacation. If you're listening to podcasts to plan your Disney vacation, listen to the end of the show and I'll give you a free offer to get our direct advice from our team of Disney travel experts. Hey geeks, the unofficial guides to Walt Disney World has long been Mama and my favorite book resource all about Disney World, and we're excited this week to bring on author Erin Foster and our super geek travel agent Jennifer Galambos on the show, and we're going to talk all about Disney cruises. This is a show suggested by our listeners, and a few of them contributed questions, including Stephanie K., Sarah Tomlinson, Tony Tovar, and Heather Brainerd. Hey, thank you, geeks, for your questions. And, I think the authors really get interviewed a lot and often, and I bet they get the same questions over and over again. So it's really cool that our listeners, our geeks, they make this interview more relevant to our community and a little bit more interesting for the author. So I thank you so much, geeks, for contributing to, it makes my job so much easier too. Now we're going to learn all about Erin's recent trips, including some Disney River cruises. She really loves those European Disney cruises, which are fairly recent that Disney's been offering those. The activities on the ships or while they're in port are run by Adventures by Disney Guides, which is really special. She talks about some upcoming cruises, including Bermuda for her 25th wedding anniversary. We talk about port excursion tips, Atlantis. I think that's in the Bahamas. I always see the commercials for Atlantis, so I hear what that's all about. They talk about their favorite excursions. Here comes some of the questions from our geek. Stephanie K. asks, what's included in concierge? What about people with dietary restrictions? Stephanie had a couple questions for us. Details on Serenity Bay and the cabanas. Are they worth it? What about online check-in? Sarah Scheffler Tomlinson, she asks, I'd love a tip or two about stateroom categories. How do you figure out what room might be bigger than another? Which ones have a secret veranda and the most desired deck to stay on, etc. Tony Tavar asks what sorts of things require you to pre-book before the cruise and what can you just do once you're on the boat. He's especially curious about character meet and greets, and are all of them ticketed or just certain ones? Great questions, guys. Heather Brainerd, tips for adults only cruise. And she's excited because she's taking a cruise in November. Guess what? We talk about food. Can you believe it? On the Geek on Walt Disney World podcast. I put that in big, bold letters. Yes, we talk lots of food talk. And then we finish up with some tips for newbies from our experts. Now, relax. No full stink, geeks. It's time for a Disney cruise with Jennifer Galambos and Erin Foster. All right. Well, it's a beautiful day. One of my listener guests here has birds chirping in the background. It's so beautiful here in Connecticut, and it's always a great day to talk Disney World. And how about some Disney cruises this time with our unofficial guide author? But first, let's bring on our Geeking on WDW expert in cruises. Wishes Fantasmic, Happily Ever After, and Cinderella's Castle starts her crying. She looks fabulous with pixie dust in her hair and from the barbershop, and she is the mom to that cute baby at Monsters Laugh Floor. She shares in her clients' excitement more than she probably should. Please welcome Jen Galambos of Fairy Tale Concierge Travel and Little Dolibs. Hey, Jen.
Hey.
You're sitting outside on your deck?
Yes, sir.
I hear the
Beautiful day in the neighborhood.
I know it. It's so gorgeous here in Connecticut too, and I know you're in the Philadelphia area, so we're kind of having the same weather. It's awesome. I love the summer, and I know you love to talk about cruises.
A little bit. Yeah, it was definitely hard enough for me to keep my mouth shut when people were asking questions on the
oh yeah
page.
You wanted to answer them already, right?
I did, yes.
Well, you are so helpful, being a travel agent and all, and we did this once before. We brought this author on before, so I'm so excited. We had a great conversation with her. We're going to bring her back on and talk, get all the new listeners up to speed on Disney cruises. So she is a charter member of the official Walt Disney Parks Moms panel, and she researched and answered over 10,000 guest questions about Disney travel. In a quest to consume absolutely everything Disney Destinations has to offer, Erin has visited the Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disneyland Paris, Hong Kong Disneyland. Her travels include Disney Cruise Line voyages, of course, all around the world, adventures by Disney, journeys on 4 continents. Wow. I forgot all this stuff, Erin. And she goes to the Disney Vacation Club properties in Hilton Head, Vero Beach, and Hawaii. I am getting really jealous. I don't know about you, Jen. Please, please give unofficial guide to Disney Cruise Line author Erin Foster a warm Geek and Family welcome. Hey, Erin.
Hi, I'm exhausted just listening to your intro here. Thank you for the warm welcome.
I had Seth Kabursky on there, and yours is about as long as his intro too. But I
think he's done way more than I have actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's so great to talk with you again.
Thank you. Yes, you too.
Have you been to some Disney properties recently? What have you been up to lately since we last talked?
Let's see. I've spent a lot of time at Disney World recently. I was there for 10 days by myself in February, I was doing some research for touring plans, but mostly, I actually really love going by myself because I get to do all the stuff that I want to do.
Yeah.
And my kids are all off in college now, so I get to do that a little more. And I stayed at a Grand Floridian villa for the first time, which was kind of awesome. Just having a lot of great fun at Walt Disney World. And I have several Disney cruises coming up later this year.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. But I wanted to ask you, when you go by yourself, but are you hanging out with all the unofficial guide researchers?
Some. Okay. And I have a lot of, because I was on the moms panel, we have a very active sisterhood of the traveling moms.
Okay.
There almost always somebody there that I can meet up with and, have a meal or two with and that sort of thing. So I did visit some of my moms panel friends. So I'm not totally alone, but,
Oh, you got yourself a community too then.
Exactly.
Like us.
Exactly. Yep.
All right. That's one of our favorite part of our podcast for sure. When was the last time you did a cruise?
The last time I did a cruise was the Dream last Christmas, which I feel, now that I'm saying that, I feel sad. But I have
Seems so
Three
long.
coming up this year. In a couple weeks, I'm going on the Adventures by Disney Rhine River cruise. And then I'm going to Bermuda with my husband on DCL. And this is the first year Disney is going to Bermuda. So I'm excited to experience that.
Beautiful.
And then I'm going with my whole family over Christmas on the Wonder out of Galveston.
Wow. Well, let's unpack some of this. The one in December, where did that one go?
It sails out of Galveston and it goes to Key West and Castaway Key and some of the islands.
Oh, I was actually talking about the one you just went the past December.
I
was starting with
sorry. Starting backward. It was just the dream to Castaway Key and Nassau.
Oh, is that all?
That's all.
How long does that go for?
That was a 4-day cruise.
All right. So, now the river cruise, I remember when we talked last time, I think that was something new Disney was offering, if I remember correctly.
Right. It started in 2016. So this is now the third year that they're offering them. And the first year they only did the Danube. And then last year they added the Rhine River. And then next year they're also going to start doing itineraries on the Seine River in France.
Oh, wow. That sounds... So you're excited about this one, aren't you?
I'm very, very excited about that one. Yes. I'm going with my oldest daughter who just graduated from college. So it's sort of her celebration trip. And we're going to go enjoy the European countryside together, which I'm really, really looking forward to.
Yeah. How does that work? What's the itinerary for a river cruise?
Well, in this one, we are sailing out of Basel, Switzerland, and we make some stops in Germany and France, and then we end up in Amsterdam. So the river cruise is very, very different than the DCL cruise, and I love them both. But the river cruise is sort of much, much more intimate because the size of the ship is so much smaller. So you're like docking on the side of the city, and you can literally 2 minutes later be in a cafe, whereas you might have to take a bus or something to get to the attractions in a DCL port. So it's a different experience, but they're both great. What's
the name of the ship?
There's the two that Disney works with. They're not Disney owned, but Disney sort of helped design them. They're run by Ama Waterways, and there's the Ama Christina is the one that I'm sailing on this summer.
Okay. All right. So they don't look like the big Disney cruise.
No.
Ships,
Like for instance, the Dream, I think, handles about 4,000 guests, and the river cruises handle 150 guests.
Oh, wow.
So it's an entirely different scale.
Wow.
Very, very different.
From my understanding of them, there really aren't kids clubs. There's not a water side. There's not a play area. It's
none of that.
Yeah, it's more about you're going to that destination.
Right.
That the river cruise, I like one person I heard say it, that it's a floating hotel.
Exactly.
When you go to Europe, you go to your hotel, you sleep, you might do breakfast there, but then you're out.
Right.
And you're exploring. Same type of idea. And now on your particular sailing, are there any days, quote unquote, at sea?
No, not at all.
Okay.
There have been times I've gone on, I could go on a 3-day trip on the Dream and literally never leave the ship and be completely and totally entertained. Right. And it's more about, that's sort of more about the journey, and the river cruise is more about the destination. So it depends on what you're in the mood for. It's really easy to explore Europe, and you could be only sailing actually with the river cruise for a few hours a day. And, like on a Disney Cruise Line cruise, you might have a port return time to the ship of, say, 4 p.m., whereas on the river cruise, it could be well after midnight. So you can be out later in the evening. You can have a nice dinner on shore, that sort of thing.
So are there characters or entertainment or that kind of thing on the river cruise?
There are no characters. There definitely is entertainment, but it's more local culture sorts of things. So like when I went on the Danube River cruise in 2016, and we were in Hungary, and so they had local Hungarian musicians and dancers come on. And, when we were in Budapest, the Rubik's Cube was invented there. So they had like a team of Rubik's Cube experts come and teach us how to do it and speed solve and that sort of thing. So, yeah, there's definitely entertainment in the evenings, but it's more local culture based as opposed to Disney based.
Yeah. Is it still the Disney touch, even though it probably doesn't?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. The thing that's different is that from going on any other river cruises, there are more kids. So that the average age on some other river cruise lines is like, like in the 70s, like that's the average age. And so like when I went on the Disney Danube River cruise, there were probably, like I said, there's 150-ish guests total. And there were probably maybe 10 that were sort of under the age of 12. And then there were another 20 that were like 12 to sort of 18. And then most of the adult guests were in their, say, like 30s to 50s, as opposed to seniors. There were a few seniors, but that was not the bulk of the clientele. And because Disney worked with AMA Waterways, the cabins are more family friendly. So they're a little bit larger. There are some connecting cabins, which is rare on a river cruise. And there are cabins that will sleep 3, which again is rare on a river cruise. And then all of the activities are run by Disney Adventure Guides, which are the people that do the Adventures by Disney trips.
Oh, nice.
So that's where the Disney touch comes in, is that these folks are all incredibly trained in Disney stuff, and many of them work as entertainers or, VIP guides or guest services in the parks on the off season. So I've actually gotten to know several of them personally, and they're just incredible. I mean, you guys were here to talk about Disney Cruise, but Adventures by Disney, I just think is like the most awesome thing on the planet. And the guides are, I need one in my personal life to fix my whole universe. They're incredibly talented, positive Disney magic people, and they guide all the excursions on shore. Yeah. So, there are local experts with them, but you always have the Disney touch in that they're providing really fabulous Disney service to you while you're there.
I'm glad you covered that. That's something I think, Jennifer, we would love to cover sometime on the podcast in more detail. I had someone mention they were going on one of those trips, so I would definitely.
Adventures by Disney. I've been. Yeah. This will be my 10th.
You are my hero.
I know
You are my absolute hero. One day when I grow up, I'm gonna be just like you.
I'm a hero. I'm a broke hero, though. That is true.
Well,
enjoying life, and that's what it's about.
That's the adventure. Well, so really, it's like an Adventures by Disney using a boat.
That is very much what it's like.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. That's very interesting. Hey, Jennifer, I got to ask you. I like to. When I first was going to have you on, I was going to say you're going to be asking questions, but because you're kind of our expert, when was the last time you did a cruise? Remind us.
Don't talk to me about it. It makes me sad.
No, I'm sorry. You've gone to Disney World though, so it's not that sad of a story.
That's true. I'm going twice.
Yeah.
I'm not lacking at all. It was last October. I did a cruise, just my husband and I, up to Canada.
That's right. Oh, that's unique too.
Yeah.
You guys.
Yeah, it was definitely unique. Yeah.
You guys have really covered the entire world practically on these, so this is awesome. All right. What was the one you're doing with your husband too, Erin? You got one coming up, right?
Yeah, at the end of October, I'm going on a 5-night cruise on the Magic with my husband, and it goes to Bermuda, and they overnight in Bermuda. And this is the first year they've done it, so I have a lot to learn. Oh. But my husband is a big golfer, and he's gonna be able to play golf there, which is going to be fun for him. But it's also our 25th anniversary, and that's where we went on our honeymoon, and we haven't been back since then.
Oh,
so that's awesome.
Romantic.
That is. It makes me. I did Jamaica. That's the only thing I've done in the Caribbean, but we did that for our honeymoon. We're going to be 29 years into this marriage thing. So I know what you mean. So Bermuda, how long do you stay in port there then? If you're just going to one,
it's like 2 full days in port.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's there to do on Bermuda that you're excited to do?
All my husband talks about is golf, and I don't really play, so I don't know.
What are you going to do?
It's funny that you say that, and I should have been ever so slightly more prepared for this chat, but our excursion booking date is coming up in about 2 weeks, and I literally have this big red thing on my calendar. It's like, choose port adventures. So I really, truly haven't even looked yet.
That's good. I guess I'm going to ask what your other one was too, but let's cover that a little bit. You do have to plan something. For a Disney World vacation, obviously, there's so much that goes into it with park tickets and touring and fast passes and ADRs and all that stuff. So for this Bermuda one, then did they give you a list of in-port activities to do?
For every Disney cruise, the website has a list of Disney port excursions that they sponsor. And many of them are run by outside local companies, a trip to a local historical site or some, sportsy activity like kayaking or whale watching or whatever they have in whatever port you're going to. And Disney subcontracts that, but they're all on the website. And so I truly haven't looked at that, but you're obviously not obligated to do those if you don't want to. So many people choose to book their own excursions. There can be cost savings in that, or maybe Disney doesn't offer what you're particularly interested in that port. I happen to often do the Disney sanctioned ones because there are a couple of advantages to them. Number one is that if there's ever some sort of like weather thing where things get canceled, Disney sort of automatically will refund your fees for that. Okay. Whereas if you book through an outside vendor, it might be a little bit of a hassle to get your money back if you sort of prepaid for something where that's not the problem. If you're in a place where English is not the first language, it can be sometimes challenging to book on your own, whereas Disney will have that all worked out. Also, if you're off on your own and, you're stuck somewhere and it's time to depart the port, they're just going, know, but if you're on a Disney approved port excursion, at least they know where you are. And the, the Disney sanctioned liaison can call and say, oh, we're 5 minutes away, and they might hold the ship for you. So I personally, I'm a sort of worrywart. And so I take comfort in that. And
I'm with you there. And I'm sure my wife would be the same way.
Right. So I typically look at the Disney excursions. And so I haven't, I know that my date is coming up very soon, and that's, like I said, big red letters on my calendar is choose my port adventures. And that's something I'm doing because I haven't been to Bermuda in 25 years. I'm going to look at their excursions. But I mentioned that sometimes I'll take these 3 and 4 night cruises on the Dream. And I've been to, those typically go just to Nassau and Castaway Cay. And I've been to those places so many times. Often I don't get off the ship. There's enough to do on the ship where you don't really even need to worry about going anywhere. Or sometimes you can get off and just sort of like walk around the nearby town or crash on the beach or whatever. So it depends on what you're interested in and, what your comfort level is and wherever your port is and how much money you want to spend. So there's a lot of factors that can impact that.
I was talking to Jeff Opolka in our community, and we were on Facebook Live, and he had just gotten back, and he said, same thing. He's done enough cruises where a lot of the people get off the ship and then the ship's a little bit empty and you can really take advantage of things on the ship with less people.
Absolutely. Things like the water slides on the ships are often dead when you're in port. And if you have kids that love that sort of thing, that can be way more fun for them than like schlepping around the straw market in Nassau or something.
Yeah. Stay on the ship.
Yeah.
That is I always tell my clients, unless you want to go to Atlantis,
right?
You are dying to go. Stay on the ship. We got off one time and we saw the straw market. Like, okay, we touched the Bahamas, and we turned. And went right back. You just pop yourself in front of that ice cream machine and watch your kids go.
Exactly.
Jen, you just mentioned Atlantis, and I see the commercials all the time. They leave me wondering, what is it? Because I have no idea. That's in Nassau, right?
Yeah.
Bahamas.
It's a
resort.
It's a place. It's a big place.
Well, thanks for coming on the show, Jen.
It's a hotel. They actually have several hotels in the beach, and there's a casino, crazy water slides, and a water park, I guess is a better way to describe it.
Yeah.
It's like a mini Vegas at the beach.
Yes, thank you. Yes, that is perfect. But let's just say I would rather take my kids to Vegas.
Yes.
But that's me.
But here's the deal. So I've been to Atlantis a couple times, and the experience is vastly different depending on how many other ships are in port.
Yeah.
And
makes sense.
We have I'm spacing right now, but in the book we list a website online that tracks which ships are on which port at which port every day. So you can sort of suss out, okay, on the day I'm going, there are only 2 big ships in Nassau. So Atlantis is probably going to be pretty calm, but there might be a day when there are 8 ships in Nassau, and then Atlantis is going to be a zoo, and you've paid $2,000 to fight somebody for, a 2-hour wait on a water slide. And so Atlantis could be Disney World on steroids, or it could be a wonderful, relaxing place. It depends on what's going on any particular day.
What's some of your experience? What's been some of your favorite excursions?
My favorite excursions overall have been in Alaska. That's my favorite.
I think I remember you saying this.
Yeah, just the dog sledding.
That's funny.
Was truly incredible.
Yeah.
I am, here I am a cruise writer person, but I like the cold weather cruises so much. And in Northern Europe, we went to Russia and Sweden and Norway, and just seeing the fjords. One wacky thing we did on a trip where we took DCL in Norway is they had a sanctioned excursion where we visited a real Norwegian's home. So they took about 20 people to this house. And she talked about like her way of life. She was, a professional person, but we saw her home and she made us homemade Norwegian waffles with jam that she made. And it was such a real insight into her culture and her lifestyle, which I thought was terrific, that an experience that I would never otherwise have.
I mean, she didn't make you guys school bread?
Well, I did get school bread in Oslo. I did. And
what was it like? Compare the two.
Yes, I did. And I posted pictures for all my friends, and they were like, school bread, like it's like it was slightly bigger and slightly less sweet. But it was still the same thing, totally recognizable. And they spelled it like the Norwegian way. And I was over the moon to have it. Yes.
Probably had to make it sweeter for us Americans. Yeah.
I bet they didn't have Vikings trailing like they do in the Norway Pavilion that I love so much.
Yeah, Vikings. There was Viking stuff. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I can totally get this.
With the axe that you always have your kid pose with.
This actually rings again. Jeff Opolka, who I was talking with, said because he's cruised enough in the Caribbean, if you've been to one island, you've kind of been to them all.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Then Europe obviously has lots of different cultures and tons of things to see. That makes total sense. All right. What was the last one, Erin, you were talking about? Was it December you were going another one this year?
Coming up?
Yeah, this year.
The next one I'm doing is in October, and it's the Bermuda one. And then I'm going with my whole family on the Wonder over Christmas. And we're sailing out of Galveston, and I'm excited about that because I've sailed out of Alaska, Vancouver, and several of the European ports and Port Canaveral many times, but I've never sailed out of Galveston. So that's a new experience for me to add to my repertoire. So I
wonder how that's different coming out of Galveston.
Len Testa, who obviously is the touring plans mastermind, who is the mastermind of this book. I walk in his shadow, but he has sailed out of Galveston several times, and it's smaller. It's sort of less bells and whistles than Port Canaveral, but gets the job done. I think one of the frustrating things for some people coming from the East Coast is that you typically fly into Houston, which is a little over an hour from Galveston, and there's not as many sort of I'm saying this and I'm going to take back everything I just said, but it's sometimes a little bit more frustrating to get from the airport to the port than where you fly into Orlando International and Disney's got the buses going and it's all streamlined. So
you're probably on the boat a lot longer before you get to a destination, I would think.
Yes, I think so. I'm gonna agree with you and not remember.
If my geography is right.
Yes.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to dig into some of the listener questions from this year.
Okay.
Stephanie K has 5 questions, so they might hop around a little bit, but you know what? I like to keep this interesting, Erin, you probably
keep me on my toes.
Keep you on your toes. All right. So she would love to hear more about concierge on the ship and what is all included. What
is included? I have sailed DCL concierge once. It was lovely. Laurel Stewart, who is another one of the co-authors of the Unofficial Guide to Disney Cruise Line, she loves concierge and has done it several times. So she is the expert on that from our perspective. But the rooms are a little nicer. When I did it, it was on the Magic, and it was a 1-bedroom suite with my family. And so we had a lot more room to spread out. And there was like full-size walk-in closet, which is not happening anywhere else on the ships. Sure. And we had a bathtub, which is not happening anywhere else on the ships. And every day we'd get to the room and there was some happy little treat in the room, like chocolate-covered strawberries and a case of water. And there were concierge hosts there that would help us sort of do anything we wanted. You forgot to make your Palo reservation. Oh, let me help you. Let me get you into this. It was just, it was very nice.
Someone dedicated to you.
Right. Now the ships have dedicated pool areas too, just for concierge guests and that sort of thing. So you're a little bit away from the riffraff and such. It's substantially more expensive often. Yeah, if that's what you're in the mood for, it's certainly a wonderful experience.
Is there more food options?
Yeah. More food. There's a snacky place, and yeah.
Yes.
And there's also, it comes just like concierge at Disney World. In the evening, they have a bar situation, but I think it's a little bit more high end. Like you can actually get mixed drinks. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure you can even get mixed drinks in the lounge.
I believe that sounds correct. Yes.
Yeah, okay. And I've done some research and, just dreaming.
Yeah.
But what's nice about it is that instead of being Disney Cruise is not like Disney World, where if you're not on at exactly 6 a.m. or exactly 7 a.m., you're not going to get the good times for the different things. Mm-hmm. Except for port arrival times. That's always a big deal to a lot of people, as well as especially like holiday sailings and stuff like that, where the ship tends to be at capacity. Mm-hmm. The princess meet and greets, that kind of stuff, to get those extra onboard things. Palo.
Or like a cabana for...
Exactly. A cabana, Castaway Key. They will make those for you. So you don't have to worry about being on at midnight to get those important things. It's not a negative. It really, really isn't. The only asterisk about that is that your pay and full date is before everybody else.
Right. So yeah.
It just helps people with budgeting.
Yeah.
To know that.
And there are other things, like if you want your dinner served in your room, they'll do that for you if you don't want to go to the restaurant for some reason.
And like Apollo also goes to your room. But that's only in the 1-bedroom, and then the suites, the Walt and Roy suites. I don't think that's in just a regular concierge room.
Yep.
Excellent. You guys covered that quite well. Okay, next one. Information about food options that if you have dietary restrictions like gluten-free, Palo, diabetic kind of stuff, how do those guys fare on them? I feel so sorry for people that have restrictions or working a diet when they go on a cruise. But
it's much like the parks where you fill out a form before you go. They will make a note on your file and a chef will come out at the beginning and speak to you about what your restrictions are. Because it's a ship, they can't sort of like go out and procure something for you at the last minute, but they work really hard. And if you tell them gluten-free, there are certainly plenty of gluten-free options. There are vegetarian options. Vegan is slightly harder, but there are people who do it. Diabetic, there are sugar-free ice creams and stuff. That's a lot of your own monitoring of what you eat. But yeah, I want to say the more common allergies are very common that guests will have them, and Disney's pretty used to accommodating the dairy, shellfish, wheat, gluten, all that kind of stuff. They're pretty adept at handling those sorts of issues.
And they also make sure for the kids clubs that those things are noted. They do serve meals in the kids club. So if you're just a little nervous, and you can sign up for that ahead of time, you can tell them what the kid wants and stuff like that. It is noted in their quote unquote file. But if it's one of those things where you're just nervous, then I would recommend not having your kids eat in the kids club. Just bring them to either one of the main. And I would actually recommend in those cases avoiding cabanas. Not it's not possible, but every meal at especially dinner, because all 3 dining rooms are open. But at breakfast and lunch, one of the dining rooms is open, and then that's more of an a la carte where somebody comes and serves you, which I highly recommend, especially for breakfast. Then I think you'll be able to have things a little bit more adapted to your dietary needs.
One of the really good things about Disney Cruise Line, if you have an allergy issue, is that you have the same serving team throughout your entire cruise. Yeah. So it's not like you have to explain things to them every single night. It's like once you get the this is my kid's issue spiel down, they know. And so that's a little more relaxing than some other places where you have to keep going it over, over and over again.
Great point. That's a good one, Erin. All right, moving along. Information about Serenity Bay and renting cabanas. I don't know what Serenity Bay is, so act like I know nothing. And I'm acting like that because I don't know. And are they worth it? And if you aren't concierge or platinum, do you have a chance to get one? Am I talking funny jokes?
Serenity Bay is the adults only area at Castaway Cay. So it's like a beachy area, but for the 18s and up.
It's a nude. Is it a nude beach? Is that what you're saying?
No. Donald doesn't wear pants.
That's an inside joke from my father telling me this years ago. My parents went somewhere and there was a nude beach. It's an inside family joke.
Are the cabanas worth it? It depends on what you're planning to do. So cabanas come with some things included, like a float rental, snorkeling rental, that sort of thing. So if you were going to do all those things anyway, it also comes with some bottled water and some chips and snacks. And if you have enough people, like if you have the maximum capacity for the cabana, I think it's at four, 6,
8.
Right.
I think it's like 6 and 8. And then I think there's a family one that's either 10 and 12.
Yeah, I've been in the family one, which was 10. If you have the maximum number of people per cabana and you were going to do many of these included things anyway, it actually ends up not being that much extra expense per person. They are expensive. I mean, they're in the $400, $600, $800 range, depending on which one you get. But if it depends on if you were going to take advantage of everything they have. It's like, particularly I think in the Serenity Bay area, it's already quiet. Yeah. It's already sort of calm. Mm-hmm. I think it can make a bigger difference if you have like a family reunion and you're in one of the bigger cabanas in the family area where you've got a gathering point where you can all sit and hang out. But to me personally, it's not as much of a sort of must do in the Serenity Bay area, but that's just me.
And it's shade. Like the thing that I love about it, we've attempted to get one time, but it just, to go back to our other question, it is a lot harder when you are not in either a platinum or concierge member.
To get the reservation. Yeah.
It
can be impossible to pay.
Absolutely.
At Christmas, it's not going to happen if you're a newbie, a new sailor.
But you never know. You never know. So there was one time we were mulling it around, and we have 2 redheads in our family. Technically, even though they're not redheads, they have skin of redheads. They're very fair. There's 4 of them. And we debated about getting one for that exact reason. The little ones, teeny tiny ones especially, because there's a sofa in there, you could put them down, there's a fan, and like you said, the bottled waters, especially
there's a little fridge and there's a plug for your iPod and whatever.
Yeah, they're very, very lovely. And I think it goes back to one of those things where people often ask, is this tour worth it, or are the dessert parties worth it?
Right.
It goes back to that. It's your money. Yeah. You need to determine if it's worth it or not. Here are the pros, here are the cons.
I have to say, the is it worth it question is the one that makes me the most like, I don't know if it's worth it for you. I don't know what your total budget is. I don't know what your income is. I don't know what pushes your happiness buttons. It could easily be worth it for me. And I would tell you that, and you would be like, it's the biggest ripoff on the planet. So I love what you're saying. It's like, here are the pros, here are the cons, and it's a call you have to make. And so even if you're asking this is my Disney philosophy. If you're asking for advice from somebody and they say you must do X at Disney, find out a little bit about them first. Like, do they have the same age or number of kids as you? Do they have a sort of similar geographic background / income / whatever? And that will help you gauge whether their advice is going to be at all meaningful to you.
It even goes to, are their kids daredevils and are you not?
Right.
As a travel agent, I often get, is this worth it? What should we do? And I'm like, well, my family, I have 2 girls. Great. You have 2 girls. But that doesn't mean that our kids are going to like the same exact things.
Right.
And
Absolutely.
same thing goes. We've never done the cabanas, but I know some very nice shady spots on Castaway Cay. I can give you plenty of tips.
Right.
On to get shady spots and still have a great time.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are making some great points there. You're making me think about the podcast, just like when we do in Disney World and we're bringing on people to do trip reports and we're asking them, what did you like? What about this restaurant? And obviously you get different opinions and you're right, Erin, you got take it with a grain of salt. I mean, not everyone's going to like Sanaa like me.
I love Sanaa.
I know.
Listen, Kurt, bringing up. Don't get me started on dining right now.
Yes, we have to cover that for a little bit.
No. Dining and cruises is fine. Dining at Disney World.
I know it's hard, right? I mean, I'm being a podcaster, telling people what I like, and then have someone come back and say I didn't like that. It's hard, but that's the chance I take. All right, how about tips for online check-in? So they have that for cruises also.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Well, I was just going to say real quick, book with a travel agent, but I'm sorry.
Yeah. Little caveat there.
I had to toot the horn.
I often do book with a travel agent, even though I know what I'm doing, actually, because she will sometimes get me like a little fancy gift or a little cash back or, one of those sort of things.
It depends. Right. No.
But yeah, and sometimes she'll wait on, especially if it's like a new trip release, she'll wait on the phone and I don't have to. So that's very nice for me.
No. Online check-in.
Online check-in, yes. So yeah, it's all you have to online check-in basically. I think it's at least 3 days in advance. You kind of should do all that as soon as you can, really, because there are dates that, just like with Disney World, depending on your Castaway Club level, which is like the number of cruises you've already been on, things open up, like your ability to book port adventures and dining and babysitting and character meals and that sort of thing. You want to generally jump on that when you can, because things like cabanas book and you might get shut out of Palo on a certain date, that sort of thing. So
Palo brunch on a shorter cruise.
Right. So you do want to check in and add all your info, your travel and, how you're getting to the port, or do you have flight info you want to add, your credit card info, all that sort of stuff, so that you can go ahead and book your things like your dining and your port adventures and so on. And
that's only 3 days before you leave?
No. It has to be done at least 3 days before. Am I correct, Jennifer?
Yeah.
Yes, you are correct. And so sometimes I'll catch some of those last minute deals. And so I'm already within even the 70, even though I'm a Gold Castaway member. I know I'm a baby. So even though I'm Golden, could technically book out 90 days. No, I lied. Now I can't remember what it is for Gold now, but sorry about that. Because it changed. It's 90 days for Silver. I think it's 120 for Gold. I can't remember. Anyway. Yeah. Even though I've been tending to book last minute cruises recently. And so as soon as I book it, I hop online and I try to get what I can.
Right.
And same thing goes. And so it opens just like Fast Passes used to open at midnight, and Disney Cruises still opens at midnight on whatever special Castaway member you are, or if it's your first cruise and you're doing the typical, 4 3-day cruise out of Port Canaveral, 75 days prior to your check-in date.
And this would make me think of the question of, when these itineraries are announced, do you really need to jump right on them? Is there a big advantage to doing that?
Yes.
And why is that?
Because what's that called? Where they prorate that's not the word I'm looking for.
You get a better deal, right? Better price?
The short answer is it's cheaper usually.
It's cheaper. So as the ship fills, the rooms get more expensive.
Ah, yes.
So if you can do it on the first day, that's the best. Whatever yours opens up, that's the best you can do it.
It might not matter as much to a new cruiser, but there are some veteran cruisers who want a very specific stateroom or location on the ship, and there's a possibility that could fill up. And
the Alaska cruises, those more unique ones, a lot of the Europe ones, the Panama and the transatlantic, those are just the unique ones are the ones that jump in pricing within days.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to, this is sort of related, so I'm going to jump to Sarah Scheffler Tomlinson, who asked, I'd love a tip or two about stateroom categories. How do you figure out what room might be bigger than another? One that might have a secret veranda, or most desired.
Let Erin take this one.
The most desired.
Say again, book with a travel agent, but go ahead, Erin.
No, I mean, a travel agent can be a big help. And I am now, she pushed the travel agent, I'm pushing my book. In our book, we have a huge section on staterooms for every stateroom category, we list the square footage, and there's little, floor plan diagrams of how they're laid out and that sort of thing. So that can be a big help. But generally the categories with the letters are the really, really nice, really, really expensive ones. As the numbers go up, the worse the stateroom is for various reasons. It could be size, location, that sort of thing. So, that's your rule of thumb. But talk to a travel agent, get the book.
And get the book.
It's all there. Lots of people have, again, is it worth it? It's the same thing as, is it worth it? Lots of opinions. You should be near the elevator because it's convenient. You should be away from the elevator because there's more foot traffic. You should be on a low deck because it's less seasick. You should be on a high deck because of the view. You should, everybody's got a different opinion. So ask a travel agent, read the book, get informed, and figure out what's going to work for you. In the book, we have a section on connecting staterooms, and we do list some very specific cabin numbers on each ship where there's like different category. Most of the staterooms that connect, meaning internal doors between two staterooms, most of them are of the same category. Like you'll have a 6A next to a 6A, but there are some where you've got a 6 next to a 7 or something like that. And we list those in the book, and that can be helpful for some people because you could have a cabin without a veranda attached to a cabin with a veranda, which could save you a little money and perhaps give you a little peace of mind if you've got kids in one that you don't want them to have access to a veranda or something like that. So that's all in the book. And that's something that's new for the 2018 edition, which we're currently working on the 2019 edition, and that will still be in that. One thing that it actually took me several cruises myself and several rounds of research to figure out that there are many different types of verandas. So there are undersized verandas, obstructed view verandas, extended white wall verandas, standard verandas, and different combinations of those things. And each of them involves different configurations of the veranda and slightly different pricing. Like one type of veranda could be something like $30 more or less expensive than another type of veranda. And so that's fine detail where, I'm pushing the travel agent now. They will have access to all of that, which can be a real help. Like maybe you think you're getting this veranda where you can sit in your chair and look out at the ocean, but you've accidentally gotten a white wall veranda, which you have to be standing up to look at the ocean. And that's totally not going to work for you because you wanted to have your coffee and sit, or
a navigator veranda.
Yeah.
Like, what is that? Or
Right.
Wow.
So all of those things are a lot of fine details that you really have to dig into some research on your own or with the help of a qualified agent to get all that sorted out.
Yeah, the biggest thing I think is, Disney touts very much, and rightly so, the split bathrooms.
Right.
But there are inside staterooms that do not have the inside bathroom or the split bathrooms.
Right.
And so you got to watch it because those are usually the cheapest, but you're now so you get in the room and it doesn't have a split bathroom.
Right.
And
and if it's just a couple on their honeymoon, they might not care because they're never even going to leave the room anyway.
Right.
But if you're a family and you want to, all get ready at the same time to go out to do something, you're late sleepers and you have an early port adventure, that could make a huge difference in your life. So,
And also, not every stateroom, because I know with a family of 5, particularly on Magic and Wonder, it is very hard to fit a family of 5, extremely hard.
Yes.
So, like you said, I love that how the book has in it, because I'll have to do some digging to split up the rooms to get them connecting rooms, and I love that idea of the different categories. Maybe a veranda, probably I'm guessing more like a navigator's veranda connected to
I'm reading the book. It's like on the Dream cabins. 8022 and 8024 are a 7A connected to a 5B. One has a full veranda and one has a navigator's veranda. You know what I mean? So there are little things like that that can save you a little money, or, you know, you don't really care if your kids have the full view, but you want it, sort of thing. So,
yeah, that's awesome.
Wow, guys. I thought this was going to be easy to book a cruise. This has got a lot more research than I thought.
Okay, wait. Now I remember the other thing I wanted to say. So we make this all sound insanely complicated. Like, you're not on the computer at like midnight 001, and you know you don't have your navigator veranda white wall thing. Your whole thing is ruined, and that is absolutely not the case. Like, you can sit on that ship for a week and a half and have somebody bring you cocktails, and you are good. You are living the good life. So I hear so many people like, I got the late seating and I wanted to get the early seating, and all hell is going to break loose, and I'm never going to, you know, buy anything with a Disney D in it ever again. And I just like, okay, take a breath, and it's all good.
No, once you get on that ship and you get that drink of the day in the one hand, and your banana ice cream in the other, everything is right with the world.
Yes, absolutely. And even if you don't drink, it's all good.
Well, there's also non-alcoholic drinks of the day too.
Yeah. Well, thanks for bringing me back down. I was having an anxiety attack there for a minute. That sounds true. I totally agree.
It is not Disney at all. And here's the other thing to mention with that. Even if, let's say you book last minute, or let's say you just, nothing else was available when you booked at the 75-day point. Yeah. Get on the ship. There's a place that you can go your very first day to see if you can change your dining, to see if you can change your dining rotation, to see if there's any, you know, all those other kind of things. It can change, and they might have some
spa openings. I've been on a ship where a friend of mine got a cabana in the middle of the ship. They thought they were all booked, and then a couple of people canceled because they thought the weather was not what they wanted, and then they were happy as a clam to get that cabana. You know, I mean.
Oh well, actually, you guys are leading into a question from Tony Tavar. And what sorts of things require you to pre-book before the cruise, and what can you do once you're on the boat? And then he clarifies this a little bit, and he's especially curious about character meet and greets. I know he's got small kids, and are all of them ticketed or just certain ones?
The character meet and greets, there are ticketed ones. The tickets are free, so it's not like you've got to pay for them, but it's typically when there's a group of characters that happen all at once, or there's some sort of like special niche character. So the ticketed ones I've been to are some Marvel ones, and Anna and Elsa and Olaf when they were like new and hip. And
they're still ticketed, I think.
And then like the princesses when they're all together, but it varies a little by cruise. And I have not yet been on a Star Wars one, but I imagine there are some.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
As a Marvel. Yeah. That's it.
So like those
you don't need a ticket for.
Right. Mickey's out every day. And, you know, I went on an 11-day cruise a couple of years ago. And by the end of that one, people were like, yeah, Mickey, we have seen you 1,000 times. And like, so if you're on one of these super long ones and there's a character you want that's a common character, you can wait towards the end of your cruise and there will be no line. Mickey's just like standing there polishing his nails going like, okay, will somebody talk to me? Whereas like on, you know, like on day 10, but on day 1, they were like, Mickey, you know. Yeah. Or Mickey will sometimes, Mickey, Minnie, and Goofy, like they will often change costumes during a longer trip. So they want, like, if you want Alaska Mickey in his rain slicker, or you know, Goofy with the Viking ears in Norway, that sort of thing. Those are sometimes popular, but those not typically ticketed.
And just in general, do you have to pre-book a lot of this stuff, or can you? Is it difficult to get stuff on the boat once you're there? What's your feel there?
It depends on what it is. Like some spa stuff is hard to get. Sometimes Remy and Paolo are hard to get, depending on the length of the cruise and holiday things. You know, if you're sailing over Christmas, just assume things are going to be hard to book. Sometimes during sort of hurricane season, like when school's in session, the ships are less full and not as hard to book. Get on things as soon as you can. And there are, you know, people cancel, there's movement, that sort of thing, but book things that you can when you can.
Right. All right. Well, our good friend Heather Brainerd's got a question, and she wants to know, if there are tips for adults only cruise. Now I gotta imagine though, when she says adult only, she means it's just her, like her and her husband are going, but there's probably lots of kids and families on the boat too, right? You don't just have an adult only, do they? Yes.
No.
Yeah.
There's always kids. Always kids on the ship, but I've been told that the transatlantic and the Panama ones that are sort of like the 2-week long cruises, those are typically have the fewest number of kids because not many people can take kids out of school for that long or are comfortable having a child away. So if you're looking for an adults only experience and you really want to have like minimize your exposure to kids, those are the ones to book. But they're adults only areas on all the ships. You know, there's adults only lounges. There's the adults only restaurants. There's an adult only pool area on all the ships. So if
adult only coffee, snacks.
Yeah.
So if you want to avoid kids, you can't do it entirely, but you can really minimize your child exposure if you want to.
It is exceptionally easy to avoid the gladiator feeling of the family pool.
Yes,
that adult pool. You just got the little calypso music is playing.
Oh, good.
Oh, it's nice. And what's even great on the bigger ships is they have not only see the magic and the wonder, just have just this little pool area. It's in the back. It's beautiful. It's lovely. It's right next to the spa. It's solace. It's just, I can't go on enough about it. But on the Dream and the Fantasy, they actually have 2 spots that are adults only as well in the pool deck area.
And one thing to remember is I've been on several cruises with either just my husband or with a group of adult girlfriends. Definitely on those trips, we've mostly hung out in the adults only areas. But even if you're there with your kids, you can park them in the kids club or whatever, and then you can go to the adult area and you don't have to be around other people's kids, even if you're with your kids. And that's sometimes a nice little respite for an hour or 2 or 3.
My favorite thing is to sit there in the port on embarkation day and watch the families wrestle their toddlers and go, "It's not me today."
I'm done.
Having the kid cry as they're going into dinner, and I'm going, "Not me today."
It's so funny how we look at those things.
Don't bother me at all.
Right. No, I mean that's what I mean. My heart, when I see, I feel my heart goes out to those parents when their kids are just having a meltdown. But there is a little tiny part of going, "Not me."
Well, I got
I've done it.
I gotta get off the boat for a second here, but my wife and I, same thing. Jennifer, like, of course, our kids are all grown up. We had 3 kids, so we went through it all. But to watch someone from another culture, like a Japanese culture, we saw Japanese parents, you know how reserved they are. We watched one of their children have a fit one time, and we just thought that was kind of interesting. They do it.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
It happens in all cultures.
Yes.
Oh boy. Well, you know what? We like to do like an hour, Erin. So I can't believe we've gone this far. We got to say something about food. I mean, this is the Geeking on WDW podcast. Tell us. I don't know what Palo. Yeah, is that the why is that on all the boats, Palo, or is that just
Yes, Palo is on the boats, and that's the reason why I said that one.
Yeah,
that one's on all 4.
What's so special about Palo?
It's adults.
Food's good.
Yeah.
The food's good. The only caveat I have to say about both Palo and Remy is that there is a very minimal charge when you compare to the food that you receive and the quality of food that you receive. I've done the dessert pairing thing at Remy, but I haven't done the actual sit-down meal. I've heard it compared to Victoria and Albert's.
Yes, I've done Palo on all the ships for brunch and dinner. Mm-hmm. I think the current charge for that is $35 upcharge per person, which if you're platinum, you can get waived, which is nice. Mm-hmm. But that to me is a no-brainer, complete no-brainer. Remy, which is, I've been to Victoria and Albert several times, and I've been to Remy. It's the same level of over the top, excellent food, extravagant service, wine. Like you're in a food heaven coma for forever. Yeah, that is really, Palo is great for really like any cruise. You just want a lovely, nice adult meal.
Evening out. Yes.
Remy, I think, is currently $90 upcharge for dinner, and that's to me not even just for the money, but for the experience, something you want to reserve for a truly special occasion.
Yeah.
It's a
Right.
a honeymoon, it's a big birthday, it's a that sort of thing. It's a life-changing sort of meal, whereas Palo is a really nice dinner out for date night. Remy is a world-class experience.
Okay, my listeners know I'm a buffet guy, so can I get to a buffet?
Cabanas.
I want to be eating all the time, guys.
Cabanas is breakfast and lunch, and dinner is not a buffet. But if memory serves, and I've never gone to it, Erin. So correct me if I'm wrong. Are they still doing the pirate night, midnight buffet thing?
It depends on the cruise. I have been to that a few times.
Right.
It's not generally those short dream ones, but on the longer cruises, they often will add in some special buffet, special midnight thing, special local culture food thing. So, keep an eye on your navigator for that. That's the daily newsletter thing. Everything you want, the peel and eat shrimp forever, the crab legs, it's all there, and there's stuff for adventurous eaters and there's stuff for picky eaters and there's stuff who just are people who are just eaters. And in addition to Cabanas buffet for breakfast and lunch, there are also sort of snack bar-y kind of places on the pool deck where one is a hamburger window and one is a chicken nugget window and one is a pizza window and one is a salad window. And so those are open from morning until I think 6 or 7 p.m. Yeah. So there's no, the thing that always freaks me out first when I get on the cruise is I don't really need money very much. And so it sort of feels weird to walk up to which is basically a quick serve restaurant and say, can I have a hamburger and fries? And they just hand it to you.
Yeah. And you walk,
right. And you walk away and you're like, okay.
I like that.
I don't have to tap my magic band? What?
Right.
No, what?
And you can do that 17 times a day if you want. And my kids sometimes have, and there's on all 4 ships, there's perpetual soft serve ice cream on tap, and it just goes and it flows. And, I think my husband, if I let him, would stick his face underneath and just pour it out.
I do. Yeah, I do. I can't make it if we're done for the evening, ready. I literally have to go up to the pool deck, get my ice cream, and have it as my midnight snack.
Okay. So here's my tip. So we have often gone and gotten fountain drinks dispensers deck. We'll get a little root beer or orange soda and then put your vanilla ice cream in and you've made yourself a float. That's a really good.
They've gotten awesome with their flavors too, I have to say. They used to just be strawberry banana, which don't trust me, it's good. Vanilla and chocolate, but I've seen pineapple and mango. There's been a bunch on some of the longer cruises.
We had blueberry on one.
Yes, I've seen blueberry. Yep. The other thing I was going to say is that room service is included. So not every cruise line includes that. So that to me is a huge perk, especially if you just want that cup of coffee in the morning before you see the public. You just order it the night before and tell them what time and bam, there's your coffee.
If you want to be a real hero to your family, don't tell them you've ordered cookies and milk to the room.
Yes.
And your kids are tucked in and you're like, we love cookies and milk. And they're like, Daddy's a hero.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
What else? Food.
Nice and warm.
Oh, the
Mickey bars.
The Dream and the Fantasy also have ice cream shops that are, in addition to the soft serve, they have a paid sweet shop where they have house-made ice cream and gelato with all the toppings in the world. And, there is a small upcharge, but it's pretty reasonable. And my daughters and I got the one on the Dream is Vanellope's, and we got this huge sundae with 4 scoops and toppings and whatever. And they sort of custom creations. It's really good. And I think it was maybe $5 or $6 and it easily fed 2 of us.
It's still reasonably priced.
Right. It's reasonably
priced. I still don't feel like they're not gouging you. I feel like I could be wrong, but
that's what my point was, that I think it's pretty reasonably priced. On the other hand, if you don't want to pay it, steer your kids away, because it's very tempting looking.
Well, I think one would, one time
wouldn't hurt.
What I like to tell clients is to equate it to is deluxe dining plan. The Disney World veterans trying their first Disney cruise. I say cruises is like going, in my very humble opinion, staying at a deluxe resort and getting the deluxe dining plan.
I think that's a great analogy.
Oh, wow, that's great, Jen. I was going to say, if food is my vacation. I'm not going to get cheated.
No.
Even though I'm on a boat.
No.
I'm out at sea. All right, guys. Just a couple more questions before. And tell me, besides not using a travel agent, what mistakes do first-time cruisers make? See how I did that?
Yeah, that was perfect. I would say I
almost stumped him.
No, go ahead.
Okay. I would say trying to get everything in.
That
just. Did I take the words right out of your mouth? I'm sorry.
What's everything?
What I mean by that is you're just like at Disney World.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to see every single character. You may have to miss a show, although you can still see it on TV.
Wow.
There's just so many things: crafting, mixologies, game shows.
Yeah.
So many things
activities.
that happen. And as a parent of smaller kids, I'm just going to promise you, your children are going to say, I want to go to the pool now. I want to do, don't you want to meet Minnie Mouse? Nope. I want to be at the pool.
Yeah.
So,
right.
And like we always give when it comes to even Disney World, our biggest piece of advice, Little Dole Whip's biggest advice is take your kids' lead.
Right. Know your family, know their limits. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And but it's so much easier to do than Disney World.
Yeah.
You have the opportunity to relax. You can at Disney World too, but it's a lot harder.
Right. I thought of another thing. In addition to that, which was like my main thing is like go at your own pace, is remember that you actually are on a ship. And so my first cruise was somewhat less pleasant than it should have been because I encountered some seasickness issues. So if you're somebody who gets queasy in the back of a car, on a roller coaster or that sort of thing, come prepared. They have some over-the-counter stuff on the ship, but the ship's stores are not always open, so you might have to go down to the health center or, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But speak to your own doctor in advance if you know that you're prone to seasickness or to motion sickness in other situations.
Perfect.
And ask their advice on possibly getting a motion sickness prescription for the patch, or, what do they recommend for over-the-counter? Some people in like the C-bands or medicinal ginger or,
homeopathic, like rolling,
Bonine versus Dramamine or, for you. And also keep an eye on your kids. Or do they throw up on a back of a car ride if they're reading or something like that? So make sure you understand your family's motion sickness situation, because that can be all the difference in the world between like a really great cruise and a really I'm kind of miserable cruise.
Yes. To go along with that made me realize I don't think this is necessarily a first timer's mistake, but it is definitely something that I push way more heavier to my cruising clients than I do to my Disney clients, Disney World, Disneyland clients, is get travel insurance.
Yes.
Because if you, let's say you were to get a little queasy on the ship and need to go, just a little motion sickness, but a little queasy, you didn't prepare. And you were to go down to the little clinic down there, it can cost you $200-$300 just to get a little pill.
Oh, wow.
So whereas travel insurance will cover that kind of stuff.
Okay, great. Good stuff. Hey, now have fun with this last question. All right. Well, if you're getting ready to go on a cruise, what are you excited about? What's kind of, when I go on vacation, I think of this mostly of my beach vacation, because it's like, what is your typical day on a cruise?
It's what you want.
Yeah.
If you want to be meeting characters and occupied 24/7, you can do that. But if you want to be somebody who sits at the pool and with your fruity drink, cocktail or otherwise, and your book and, catching some sun, you can do that too. It's nice that you don't have to do some of the dining booking that you might have to do at Disney World, and that, you're assigned dinner every night and everything is included. So it's easy to budget because a lot of things are included.
Most things. I mean, it's truly, in my opinion, it's truly those extra things that are not included, like alcoholic beverages.
Right.
I mean, but your sodas, your coffees, your teas, that's all included.
Right.
Yeah.
If you if you're a Disney fan, it's great. There's Disney shows, there's Disney music, there's Disney trivia all the time. That's one of my kids' favorite things to do. it really, it's one of those, is it worth it kind of questions. What are you excited about? You're excited about, do you want to relax? Do you want to swim in the ocean? Do you want to see the sights of Europe? Do you want to, whatever it is, there can be a way to do it.
What do you like to do, Erin?
What do I like to do? I like to visit other cultures. And like I said, I prefer the cold weather destinations.
Yeah.
I really do. So yeah, I love seeing the sights of Europe with DCL because I don't have to unpack a lot, everything is right there. And I get to see, Rome or St. Petersburg, Russia, that I never would have gone to otherwise. And then I'm back at the comfort of, I like exploring their food and their culture. And then I can come back and have my food and my culture, and it's like
your familiarity.
Easy both ways.
Your familiarity. Having done Europe, like land, Italy and Greece, and then having done Europe via cruise, I love the cruise because by the time I was day 9 in Europe, I was crying to come home.
Right.
Granted, I was 17, but still, the cruise, it's nice because then you have a little home base. You can come back to center.
Yeah.
I love the moment I look forward to the most is when they announce your name. I love that point when you first get on the ship and they say, "Welcome, the Galambos family."
Yeah.
It's like, that's it. I'm on a cruise and, I'm on vacation. And that's what I love about it is that Disney World, especially going with me, I'm up at rope drop and I really don't want to go back to the hotel. I'm there and I'm go. Whereas my husband is a lot different. And he would rather relax and he wants to go back to the hotel. He wants his downtime. So that's why cruising we love it so much because we get the good food, but then I can go to the shows, go to the trivia, the mixology, and meet all the characters. And he can sit in his room watching the news with the veranda open. That's like his favorite thing to do.
Perfect.
And then sit in the hot tub in the evening.
I totally get that.
So,
right. Exactly.
Yeah.
That reminds me, DCL is, I think, particularly good for like a large family reunion, a multi-generational family reunion.
Having done those.
Right. So if you've got a party of 12 or 16, it's impossible to get reservations at a Disney World restaurant, but they'll stick a bunch of tables together for you on the cruise line and you're all good to go. And there's enough things to do where people can, the kids can do this and the grownups can do that. You can watch a movie, you can go to the show, you can do whatever, but then there are times to be together. And it's so easy to do that on the cruise line where it can be a little more challenging at Disney World.
Perfect. Guys, let's close with this. Well, Jennifer, why don't you go first? You want to promote something?
Well, yeah. So I can be reached at Fairy Tale Concierge. Now, well, come on over to Little Dole Whips. We love to talk cruising over there as well.
That's right.
And also find me on Facebook. You can find me on Geeks. If not, email me, Jennifer at fairytaleconcierge.com, and let's get that cruise booked. I love sending clients on cruises.
Thanks, Jennifer. And Erin.
I would love to promote the Unofficial Guide to Disney Cruise Line. I am a co-author, and it's got all sorts of really detailed information about the ships and the ports and particularly about Castaway Cay. So there's if you're looking to plan your trip, there's all sorts of little details in there. Yeah, and I can be reached. The touringplans.com website has tons of stuff for cruise line and Disney World and Disneyland and Universal. And I'm at Erin at touringplans.com and lots of other places online.
Thank you, Erin and Jennifer. This is one of the easiest interviews I've ever done. I had like 5 questions and you guys just kept talking the whole time. I didn't have to say much.
Can't shut us up.
I know,
It was awesome. You guys feed off of each other. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Well, anytime.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas.
Oh, doing these interviews about cruises. This is the second time we had Erin on. It makes it hard for me because Mama is not a big fan of water. She's just afraid of water, not to mention her motion sickness. But those trips up north, and I'd love to do that European river cruise for sure. I love the Caribbean. I'd love to do all of that one of these days. I hope I get a chance to do it, but it's still fun to share that information with you guys. Now, shout outs. Oh, wow. I have a ton of shout outs I want to get through this week. First of all, thank you, Fran Chandler, for the intro. Great job. I coached her up through the Facebook group, How to Record, and then I suggested a script for her. So please come on like Fran did, and that was a great job she did on the intro. I think our geeks really enjoy them. I really appreciate it, and you can record those and email them to me at kurt.stone@geekinondwdw.com. Big shout out to Tony, Ann, and Dave from the Disney Crush podcast. I did listen in on your podcast this week, guys, and thanks for mentioning me in the Geekin' podcast. You guys talked a little bit about the Toy Story Land, so I was definitely interested to hear your opinions there. So one of these days, we're going to get Tony, Ann, and Dave on the show. We've talked about having them love to support podcasts, and coincidentally, I'm on a podcast along with Rich Stork from the One Little Spark podcast. We are featured on the Diz Down Under podcast with Lewis Sutton and his wife, Kat. They are getting ready to go on a big trip to Disney World, and they're doing some features. They were looking for someone who goes a lot and knows a lot about Disney World. That was me, and someone who lived there, who lives the lifestyle of Disney World, Rich. So we shared, I know we talked a lot about our lounges. So if you want to hear about lounges and also some of our best tips for going to Disney World. So go check out Diz Down Under podcast. They are from Australia. Some of my favorite friends from Australia, although I have some more I'm learning too. Like Kate Sewell, for one, who comes on my Facebook Live all the time. Oh, Holly Burcase. You really get the award this week for some of the best news I heard. It was the Disney Polynesian Resort mug is out. There's some story behind this. What's cute about this is that Holly, of course, knew all about my Polynesian mug woes. First of all, I bought a Polynesian mug long time ago when we first went there and stayed there many years ago. You put it in the dishwasher and the paint comes off. It's a beautiful mug too. It's a very unique shape. And then I got one fairly recently, and it's a cute one with Mickey and Minnie, kind of at the beach kind of scene, and it's like a sticker that kind of melted off. So now I got two damaged Polynesian mugs, and I love the resort mugs. Notice, and I've picked up several of the resort mugs, they're all starting to feature them in the resorts, but why not the Polynesian? It's been lacking, so Holly found it. I'm also excited. I said, I'm not being shy. I asked my listeners in the Facebook group, maybe they'll get me one before I go in January. And thank you, Jennifer Metz, for volunteering to get me the mug, the Polynesian mug. So I'm so excited. Can't wait to get that mug. And again, Holly, thank you so much for thinking of me. That was so awesome. I love collecting stuff. I love it when you guys send me stuff. I collect refrigerator magnets, especially magnets that have the bottle openers on it. I collect little koozies, hats, and of course, coffee mugs. So if you ever want an idea, send me something. There's some ideas. I love the refrigerator magnets. Make me think of my community. My geeks out there, it's so fun to receive stuff in the mail. I'm not shy to tell you that. All right, next. Did you feel the earth move this week? I know I did. I had such high anticipation for this. EJ Cruz was on her very first adult-only trip with her husband. Now, that was exciting enough, but she met up with Holly Burcase and Brianna Lopez. And it was my heart was just, I had a little tear. I got to tell you guys, this was so exciting for me. These guys are awesome. I cannot wait to get them back on the podcast and talk all about their meetup and their trip. Maybe I'll do the trip report. I was just thinking as I was writing this out, I'll possibly maybe bring them on together to do their trips reports. So that was really exciting. I love it when the geeks meet up, and EJ took a ton of great pictures. She takes these pictures in front of the walls with all the color. And this was her first time seeing Toy Story Land, which she is a huge Toy Story fan. So great job, EJ, Holly, and Brianna. I want to promote my good friend Heather Brainerd. She's such a great friend of ours in the podcast, and she has started a meditation podcast. It's called Kaluna Wellness Meditations Podcast. She's got a couple episodes started there, so go support Heather. I think our our mental health is just so important. I think meditation can be a fantastic thing. One of the things I really am proud of, last couple of months, I've really been dedicated to my morning routine, which includes reading, mostly spiritual material, and my prayer life. And I love to do a little bit of meditation. I ride the bus back and forth to work, and I see a lot of people with their Bibles out. I see them being quiet, closing their eyes, and I'm sure they're also practicing meditation. I took a little course at work that actually was very beneficial for me. So I highly recommend that. Go, and Heather is outstanding. She's awesome, and go check her out. Thanks, guys. And new listener, I want to say a little shout out to Heather Madar Wales. I hope I'm saying your name, Weyles. I put out this little post in our Facebook group when we have new listeners join the Facebook group. And I just say, hey, tell us 3 fun facts about yourself, like we do when we have guests on the podcast. And she was saying that she's had a little bit of a bad time going on, but what really makes her happy, and it's her most important fact, is that all of these Walt Disney World posts make her so happy, especially during some hard times. So if you're having a hard time, I hope our podcast can be an uplifter for you, Heather. And thanks for joining our group. Bad times end. Let's all look forward to all those good times. And I know it's really a good time. I know this really cheers me up when I'm thinking about my next vacation. And we have been, Mom and Judy, we were actually over their house this weekend, and we were thinking of looking out all the restaurants and all the menus for our vacation coming up in January. But guess what? You can go to Disney World. You can go to Disneyland, or you can go on a Disney cruise. We're Disney World travel experts. We're official Fairy Tale Concierge travel agents, along with EJ Cruz and Jennifer Galambos. And Fairy Tale Concierge is an authorized Disney vacation planner agency. Let's develop your plan. Let's develop your trip. Why should you use a Disney specialized travel agent? Well, first, we're experts in Disney World. We've been podcasting about Disney World for over 4 years and going to Disney World for 19 years. We've stayed at practically all the resorts and ate at most of the restaurants. I'm trying to cover the rest of them on this next trip. Well, we'll maximize your fun and enjoyment of the resorts and parks. That's what we do best. We'll help you book the best resort and vacation package to fit your individual needs, including discounts and park tickets. We'll teach you how to leverage the Fast Pass system, the My Disney Experience app, and we'll help you book the best dining reservations so you get the most out of your days in the parks without waiting those long lines. Can you believe the people that wait in those long lines? Have you seen those people? Don't be those. They didn't book their vacation with us. I can tell you that. We'll teach you the best ways to tour the parks, leveraging our experience and your individual choices. Mama and Judy were telling me just this week, it's really important to book, a year out. And if you're looking for Christmas, boy, get on that right now. Or if you're looking, Art Festival's coming out in January, or you can come meet us. We're going to have a meetup in the parks towards the end of January. So if you're looking to do those trips, really get on it. Get in contact with us. You're going to have a fun time chatting with Mama and Judy. They are a lot of fun to book your trip. Mama's been working with a client. She's got someone who's doing a 25th wedding anniversary. It's a good friend of ours. And she knows, people are walking up to us because they found out that we're actually doing this. And even if they've been there before, they're excited to get our expertise. Oh, is that something you want? Make it easy on yourself. Contact Mama and Judy. You can email them travelingtiaras@gmail.com. That's traveling without the G. travelingtiaras@gmail.com. You can go to our website, geekinonwdw.com/advice. There's a form there. Fill it out. We'll get emailed and we'll get back in touch with you. We'll set up that free phone call that gets you started. Oh, the best thing I love about podcasting are the friends, my geeks that we meet, the trip ideas we share. We see you in the parks. I love it. Let me give you a few ways that you can join our amazing Geekin family. Join our email list. It's called the Geekin Gazette. It's a newsletter. Each week I'll send an email that has our favorite news story from Walt Disney World, a planning or money-saving tip, and something interesting that our community is talking about. When we've got discounts that are announced through Fairy Tale Concierge and Disney World, we'll keep you up to date on those. When you sign up for the email list, you're going to get a planning spreadsheet that we use to plan and track our days, our ADRs, fast passes, park hours, and which park we're in. I saw Judy had that out when we were going through the current restaurants we have picked for this January's trip. And we like to put that all together, put it down as a PDF, and text it to each other, so it's handy on our phones. We also send you a travel packing checklist, and I know I got so many things to remember. I love lists, and checklists are great for Disney World because there's some unique things that you need to bring for Walt Disney World in Florida. You don't want that horrible feeling on the way to the airport. It's happened to us. I remember we were taking my in-laws to the airport one time and they forgot their airline tickets when that was important to do back in the day. But you don't want to forget something. If you're just driving to Disney World, you don't want to get down the road and start off on a bad incident. Well, go out to the website, geekinonwdw.com. You'll see the sign up on the right-hand side. If you're on the mobile, it's up on the top header. It's on the bottom of the website. Sign up for the Geek and Gazette, our Facebook group. I talk about it all the time because it is amazing. It's filled with amazing people. I was just telling someone I was on Facebook Live this past week. How come all you guys are so awesome in the Geekin family? I can't explain it other than Disney people are really cool. It's a closed and private group. Maybe that's what helps it out. But the geeks, they do give me great feedback on the quality of positive discussion we've maintained in the group, and lots of friends have met through our podcast. They're meeting in the parks like EJ, Jennifer, and Holly, and Brianna. We got geeks in the parks all the time. I got Glenn Kessler sending us pictures from Disneyland Paris. I think he's just in there for a day. It's so much fun, guys. If you want to qualify for that, you got to have a passion for Walt Disney World. Your vacations, you listen to the show, and you got a fun and positive attitude. Just search for the group on Facebook, request an invite. You're going to get 3 questions. They really help me with the feedback about the podcast. Introduce yourself. We can all say hi. You're going to learn a lot from our Geekin' friends. I have really been enjoying Facebook Live. I do it like once a week, sometimes a couple times, but it's just a great opportunity for me to talk to you guys and talk to some new people. We can talk about an upcoming trip that you're having, or you've got some questions you'd like us to ask, or you got the little feedback and chatter going on. Also, people typing in their responses. We can talk about a little trip report that you just did, or we can have a little theme for the week. Something just to talk about. My son talked to me after the last one I did. He said, "Dad, tell stories. You got lots of stories." So I'll tell you some stories for sure. I love doing Facebook Live. I'm going to keep on doing it as long as you keep joining me. Email me, kurt.stone@geekinonwdw.com. Find me on the Twitter, geekinonwdw. You can send us a voice recording at GeekSpeak 860-294-4774. I love it when you guys support our shows by sharing it with your friends. I get people telling me all the time, "I just told my friend about you guys," and I love hearing that. Thanks for sharing our podcast with your friends, and Geekin' listeners are so awesome. Share it with all your friends. Send the Geekin' newsletter out to a friend and tell them to join our amazing Geekin' family. Thanks for going geeking on Walt Disney World with us. We really appreciate you listening and geeking with us every single day. We love you, geeks. Have a magical day, and I hope all your dreams come true. Are we ready?
Yep.
Yep. I'm going to introduce Jennifer first. I love the birdies. That's great. So yeah, I'll introduce Jennifer and then Erin. And let's go.